We have a voicemail number. That number is 219-2-David-P. I'm going to play a voicemail for you from, I think it's fair to say this is an anti-transgender caller. And all of this relates to, on yesterday's show, I talked about some comments made by Fox host Jeanine Pirro, where she said she's always been offended by the transgenders. The comment was related to trans women in sports. And we talked about it. And I explained to you that it's a nuanced issue. There are lots of people on the right who want to say it's a super simple issue. No men in women's sports. And as we talked about yesterday, on the basis of a lot of different things, including that it's a tiny issue in terms of the population, 0.6% of the population is trans. Only part of that population is trans women. Only part of that population plays sports. Only part of that population plays sports at a level at which we would care about this. And only part of that population plays the types of sports where biological sex plays a role at a level where we would care about this. So it's a tiny, tiny, tiny issue. And when we talk about hormone replacement therapy and so many other things, we realize it's also a nuanced issue. Here's a caller who is taking the issue in a different direction. Let me put it that way. Take a listen.
Hey, David. This is Bob in the Columbus area. I basically love your show, but when you were talking about the transgender issue, I think you really dropped the ball, because some of the things you've said is that even though they go through the HRT and they're biologically a woman, many of these people have fully intact male genitalia. So my question to you is that when your daughter goes into high school and she's in sports in a locker room, would you feel comfortable with a transgender woman who has fully intact male genitalia next to your daughter undressing? This is very bizarre.
Okay, so listen. First of all, I think it's important to point out that this caller is moving the goalposts. It's fascinating because first, it's all about fairness and performance and muscle mass and all of this stuff. And then we have this detailed conversation yesterday. It's nuanced. It really depends on the sports. There is an advantage that's maintained, but in a lot of sports, especially after a year of HRT, that is very much within the distribution of what you would expect, even among biological women. So then he just goes, yeah, but what about your daughter seeing a penis in the locker room? Well, but that's a completely different issue. Was it about fairness and performance and athletic integrity? Or is it about the idea of a penis in the girls' locker room? Now, I have to say a couple of different things about this. First of all, from the people I talk to who have junior and high school age kids at this point, there aren't people walking around the locker room naked. I mean, I'm sure it exists, right? Like, I'm sure that there are parts of the country that still have the locker room styles from, the 50s. And I guess people are just completely naked walking around the locker room or something. But from what 99% of the parents I speak to tell me, and again, this is people mostly in coastal cities in Miami, New York and Boston, Los Angeles, San Francisco, they say that's not the type of locker room that there is. So this is really, again, a red herring. It's just another argument that doesn't really make any sense. There are, individual changing stalls and everybody has privacy for changing. People aren't walking around naked. So I don't even know, again, to what degree this is an issue. But once again, it doesn't really get to the core of this, which is now we're talking. So this caller now, I guess, isn't worried about performance, isn't worried about athletic integrity, isn't worried about professional sports, because then we're talking about adults, isn't worried about college sports, because then we're talking about adults. Now they're again narrowing the conversation to the slice of trans people who are trans women, who are athletes, who are in schools where there aren't individual stalls for changing. And how would I feel about that if my daughter... We're talking about almost nothing. We're talking about almost nothing. Now, that all being said, we should be creating environments in general in locker rooms that are safe and inclusive for students. Even before the right was obsessed with the trans women issue, there were problems in locker rooms, bullying in locker rooms, different things that were going on. So locker rooms should be designed to respect privacy, ensure people are comfortable, and many schools have gone to the private changing area direction, the individual stall direction, single bathrooms, so it doesn't matter what genitalia you have or how you identify. So it's also an important issue in general, which was not dealt with, quite frankly, in a lot of schools for a long time. So I guess the issue now is that and not the athletic performance, but they'll always find something, I think is the point. We have a great bonus show for you today. The U.S. has launched airstrikes in Syria. Why and what is the point? We will discuss it. Ohio has become the 24th state to legalize marijuana, and the Supreme Court is leaning towards upholding a law that bars those accused of domestic violence from having firearms. And some are saying that's not due process. An accusation is not guilt. And so how will you take away someone's right to a gun based only on an accusation? We will talk about that on today's bonus show.
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money. Everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
Sign up at joinpacman.com. The coupon code is 4 years, 4 indictments for 50% off. I look forward to speaking to you then, and we'll also be back tomorrow, of course, with the Friday show.